Hi, friends. We're back with another episode of What's Going On in Brittany's Life. Not much. Yo, so I'm back living in Durham, right? I'm back home in North Carolina. And I'm trying my best to create the same energy and vibrations that I had in New York City, not by gathering up friends and hanging out and doing that, but just somehow, some way cultivating the joy that I had when I was there. You know, you can't compare North Carolina to New York. Like, you can't, it's just, why even bother? However, you know, I want to have fun and I want to have engaging things going on in my mind. So what do? I buy plants. I take care of my plants. I read books. I listen to podcasts. Like, books, plants, and podcasts have become my best friend. Oh, and music. That's always been my homie, you know, since I was a kid. But for sure, instead of like sitting around pouting like, I can't find my tribe. Find your tribe, that whole thing. I don't even go looking no more because it's just like, I know how to make my own fun. I entertain myself as is. I can just sit up here and just trip out on, you know, just the random stuff that I just do walking around my house. I start dancing in the mirror, you know, just crazy stuff. But it took me a while to get there. I wasn't always like that. I used to be a person who's like, oh my God, what am I going to do this Saturday? I'm alone. I don't want to be alone. Now I'm like, I'm alone. Good. I can do what I want to do. I can go to sleep at 9. Whatever. So, you know, different strokes for different folks. Some people need people around them, and that's okay. Some people don't, and that's okay too. You got to find what works for you. Yeah. So there's that. Anyway, something that was on my mind this morning was the beginnings of an adult relationship is totally different than, and in your 30s, it's totally different than what it was when you were in your 20s. In your 30s, I know for me, I'm kind of like, the conversations are like very straightforward, very cut and dry, like not so much like, what are you here for? What are you doing? Are you looking for a relationship? Like, I don't move like that, but it's very much, in my mind at least, even though I'm not saying this to this man, I'm like, look, I done been through some shit and I'm not going through no more shit. I'm not gonna go through the same shit. You might come with some new shit, but I'm not going through that same shit. So, the beginnings are a little more just real. You know, my 20s, you know, I was trying to perpetrate and, you know, make these jokers think that I was, you know, that I had it all figured out, that I was just so wise and so yes, and I know where I'm going in my life. And we were all trying to figure it out. We didn't know what we were doing, you know, trying to figure out our careers is what I'm speaking of. You know, we were trying to figure it out, trying out things and all that. And I was just walking around posturing like, I know what I'm doing. And yeah, getting my heart broken in the process for not being real. That's what happens when you are being a phony. I had my era of phoniness. Them days are long gone. I do what I want. I do what pleases me in terms of my career. If you can't rock with that, there are billions of people in the world for you to choose from. So you can go and find that one. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so random. And then I'm drinking coffee, so I might be a little hyped up a bit. But I get excited. I get excited about just dating and relationships and how they work and what's the science behind it, because who has taught us really how to date? And I'm not talking about the Steve Harveys of the world. I'm not talking about people who are living in different ecosystems than I am. It's but so much, you know, what do you call it, advice or how-tos that I can take from somebody living in Hollywood. That's a totally different ecosystem. Y'all move different. And you're not going to tell me, yes, there was a time when the Steve Harveys of the world, they were living in, you know, your middle class or your working class neighborhoods with the rest of us. And then they worked their ways to Hollywood and to stardom. So they might have some feedback, you know, based on their historical moments in our ecosystem where we shared the same ecosystem. But over the years, child, how you gonna write a book about relationships based on what, for everybody? Or how do you think you're gonna write a real relatable book when you're in Hollywood is all I'm saying, basically. Like, that's just a stretch for me. My opinion. Doesn't make me right. But, and I'm sure there were some golden nuggets within books written by celebrities, like Steve Harvey's. But at the end of the day, it's like, I want to hear from somebody who I can really relate to, who has been where I've been, or at least we kind of have some similarities somewhere, or somebody that I aspire. I don't like those terms. I don't like to aspire to what anybody else is being or doing per se, unless it is something very healthy and specific. Then maybe, you know what? I don't even like the word aspire for this particular subject, because I don't know what anybody's going through. Like, I could say, oh, I aspire to be like that relationship over there, but I don't know what they're going through, because relationships are nuanced and they have their special things and quirks about them. So I don't know. So I want to do what works for me. But when it comes to certain skills, maybe is what I'm getting at. It's like certain skills, how did you get to where you are, is what I'm more concerned with. What I'm more curious about, not concerned, but curious about when it comes to how I view a person, and if they're living a life that I think, or they have a certain relationship that I think is healthy, then I'm just going to be curious about what are the skills that you guys are using. So curiosity, not aspiration. I'm curious about people. I don't aspire to what other people are doing. So anyway, I hope I leave you with that. If I leave you with anything, it's to kind of get us to kind of just be more curious about skills as opposed to the condition of what people have. Like, she has a bad car. He or she has a big booming house. They have a wife and kids, or whatever the case. It's like, but that doesn't mean that they're happy. That is not a mark of happiness. That's just life. Like, they're living life and they're acquiring things, but that doesn't say much about their vibration. You would have to sit down and talk to them and say, are you happy? Are you content? Where are you emotionally? So I really, 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 really work diligently on focusing on what makes me happy, how I feel. That's where meditation comes in. That's where prayer comes in, because I got to know my own voice. This is another reason why I step away from social media and the internet for a while, because I got to listen to myself. Got to make sure I'm moving within my own vibration, my own spirit, my own energy, whatever term you want to use. I got to make sure I'm moving based off my own voice, is what I'm basically saying. Throw some words in there that make sense to you and that you can connect with, and yeah, it makes sense to you. Anyway, but that's all I got for you today. I hope you are healthy and your family's well. Be blessed out there. Be loving to yourself. And I will see you on the next video post. Bye.